Jeremy Smith. I'm a Sydney-based artist, primarily in large-scale detailed drawings, doing my PhD at UNSW. My art practice is primarily in drawing, but it's around kind of this idea of counter mapping. So I do these kind of subjective, personalized maps. I normally start with an idea to map, and then I slowly sort of start in one corner and build this large artwork that sort of covers one area of the city with text, pictographic elements, with geographic locations all mixed together to create this kind of tapestry of mapping. Maps themselves have changed a lot. Maps don't necessarily have to be geographic A to B navigational tool. Maps can actually be a whole world. They can describe psychology, history, literature, a whole variety of different things. I think what's unique about my art is that it has a lot of text involved, and it is an academic kind of practice, but it's also visually appealing because I think people like detail. So I have minimal plans and I let it sort of organically grow. I have a general idea of where it's going to go, but it fills up and it kind of grows. I would encourage the viewer to take time to really zoom in and zoom out of the drawings, because there is so many layers to it. There's so much in the drawing. The best way that I would encourage you to look at it is to take some time to really travel with your eye, become the visual protagonist through this landscape, and uncover stories within this larger map. It's a practice that involves taking any subject and finding a way to visually encapsulate the whole story in one image. I sometimes think of them as like one large animation that's static. You don't have the stills of animation showing each little chapter, and you as the viewer have to construct with your eye through the landscape the story. In particular in Sydney is now on track to be the first place in the world to virtually eliminate HIV, which is incredible. And so what I've been doing is I've been researching both the history of the gay male body, but also the history of this city, and creating these large-scale sort of cultural artifacts that chart this amazing transformation from, shame and death and a lot of dark elements in the AIDS crisis to this new sort of gay sexual liberation period that we're living in. I really want my works to exist in time as capturing a unique moment in our history, and that speak to the zeitgeist, but also speak to a culture that is changing. And I really want to see my works, my maps, as little snippets or pieces of our current history, particularly with the changing culture around PrEP. And a few of my pieces have been lucky enough to be collected by some institutions in Sydney for their public institution collections, such as Fisher Library at Sydney Uni and also the State Library of New South Wales. All of these I find add to the whole idea of sort of queering archives, historical institutions that exist for many, many years. And I liked that my works are now part of that archive and that history.